aircraft are tracking towards the force at less than time on top of 2 minutes. Officers see where enemy aircraft tracking away from the force and regrouping speed. These ships are about to enter a high threat area. Intelligence suggests that enemy forces have mined the area that we are about to transfer through. The ship also needs to be at a slow flying aircraft. Therefore,
Amphibious warfare, littoral strike, is a very complicated form of warfare. Not only do we operate in the most complex water space, so where the sea meets the land, but you have the complexities of navigation and the challenges of the environment. But there's an additional complexity because of that changing nature between the sea and the land. We also have two commanders.
Perhaps the enemy are expecting us, perhaps they're not. But irrespective, small, light, undetected commando teams will provide our commanders with options. By the time we're ashore, it's already too late for the adversary.
Operating at reach means operating over the horizon. It means that UK assets are protected from enemy security systems, whether that's radar or whether that's missile systems. And it means that Commando soldiers can infiltrate securely, but the key is covertly.
So routine operations for a Littoral Response Group could be anything from normal capacity building and partnering with our allies, through to conducting special operations on behalf of UK Special Forces, and of course moving into crisis response. So anything from humanitarian aid, disaster relief, through to a limited intervention, and of course ultimately to full warfighting against the peer adversary.
The LRG North actually has a responsibility that spans the whole of Europe. That is in contrast to LRG South, which will deploy over the next couple of years, which has a focus, I would say, on the other side of the Suez Canal, all the way out into the Indo-Pacific region. It's all part of the Royal Navy's forward presence, which sees units more permanently based forward around the world.
No longer is it about who has the most firepower, with nations investing heavily in more high-end technologies. Commandos can infiltrate and identify those key C2 nodes, where those communication systems are, what communication systems enemies are using. This means commandos can essentially cripple enemy forces quietly by taking out some of the key infrastructure and less more about large-scale strikes.
So forward-based and as very high readiness forces, the Littoral Response Group can expect to be at the absolute forefront of any UK intervention.
So what the Littoral Response Group is able to do is more regularly engage in a region, and for us, Littoral Response Group North this year has seen a lot of close cooperation in the Baltic region. Should we wish to increase the capability of that group, the next level up is a Littoral Strike Group, augmenting additional units that provide additional layers of force protection to that group and a more significant headquarters element. And then at the top level, the Maritime Task Group, headed by an aircraft carrier, provides for a full warfighting capability that can integrate into NATO and our allied partners.
Albion is primarily an amphibious unit, so we have our embarked Royal Marines, and our main objective is to assist in getting them ashore safely so that they can achieve what they need to. We will always deploy with task group escorts, so we will use them to defend us against any air and surface threats. However, we are capable of defending ourselves as required, so we've got our Phalanx close-in weapon system and 20mm guns that can defend ourselves from air and surface threats, and we also have defensive subsurface capability.
So while we're inspired by our Commando roots, and we firmly see Littoral Strike as reclaiming our Commando space, it's reclaiming it for the 21st century. Commando forces will be more lethal, more sophisticated, more persistently forward deployed, and capable of special operations in a way that eclipses anything that was achieved by our previous forebears.